happy Wednesday. Today I will be broadcasting to you live from my couch. We will be working through a few story problems, and then we will also continue with solving systems of equations by using elimination. Okay, so taking a look at this story problem, it says, Miss Christian starts jogging from her house at a rate of 2 blocks per minute, and her friend Lee lives 12 blocks away and jogs towards her at a rate of 1 block per minute. So our x and y axes, our x is always time, so this is going to be minutes, and I'm going to abbreviate it as MIN. And our y is always going to be distance, so this is going to be our blocks. And then we will write equations for each of our situations and graph them. So for our first equation for Miss Christian, I have y equals, and I'm jogging at a rate of 2 blocks per minute. So this right here shows that it is 2 blocks per minute, and my y is how many blocks total I am running. Then for my friend, we have y again, the total blocks. She's starting 12 blocks away and running towards me, so we're going to subtract 1 block per minute. So for my friend, we have she's starting 12 blocks away, and each minute, you can think of it as a 1 here. She runs 1 block. So let's take a moment to graph these. Again, we have our slope right here, and we can rearrange this so we can put our negative x in front of our 12. Then it's easier to graph. So let's take a moment and graph these two equations. So y equals 2x. So my y-intercept is 0. I have no y-intercept right here. My slope is 2, so I'm going up 2 over 1. It's a little tricky, but right there. The scale here is 2 already, so I'm going up 2 and over 1. Remember, the scale here is a little different than what we're used to. And let me graph that line. And then our second line for my friend, she starts 12 blocks away. Oh, it's not working. There we go. She starts, and that's not incorrect, she starts 12 blocks away. So right here. And then she goes at a rate of 1 block per minute. So down 1 to 11 is about right here, and over 1 is about right there, down 1 over 1 right there. And then we can connect our points, and we have our line here, and then we can see that our intersection is right here, and that is at the point 4, 8, at 4, 8. So what that means, if we go down here, at 4 minutes, they meet each other, and they are 8 blocks from my house. Okay, so taking a look at this problem, we're going to use elimination to figure out where do these two lines intersect. So what is our x and y value where we have this line, 1 and 2. So we have 2 lines, where do they intersect? We are going to use the elimination method. So first we want to make sure that our x and y's are lined up. So our x's below our x's, our y's below our y's, which they are not. So we're going to move the equation around. I'm going to move this 3x over here. So then I have 3x, the x's and the y's aligned. Now taking a look at this equation, I want to I have a positive 3x and a positive 3x. To get rid of one, oops, let me undo that. To get rid of one of the variables, I would want to subtract this equation. When I have 3x, positive 3x, and a negative 3x, they'll be eliminated. So everything here, I'm going to make negative. And then I can work across and add the equations up, so these cancel. I have a positive 2y and a negative 4y, becomes a negative 2y. And then I have 4 minus 2, which is 2. And then I can keep solving. So I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and I get my y equals negative 1. So my y value I have as a negative 1 here. Oops, negative 1. To find my x value, I'm going to put this y value back in for y, and then I can solve for x. You can put it into either equation. I just always like to put it in the first equation. So this equation here is 3x plus 2 times my y value, which is negative 1, and this equals 4. So now I can solve for x. Here I have negative 2 equals 4, and the 3x is still there. So I did the 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And now I'm going to add a 2 to each side. Oops. Let's get my drawing tool back. Add 2, add 2. Keep solving. So I have this becomes 6 equals 3x. And then I am going to divide by 3. Divide by 3. And I have x equals 6 divided by 3 is 2. So my x value is 2. So these two lines, they intersect at the point 2, negative 1. Okay, so I'm going to go over 2 examples on my whiteboard here. So we have 2x plus 3y equals 1, 4x plus 2y equals negative 6, and you can pause the video at any time to write down the example. But for this problem, if we would try to eliminate a variable and just add them up, it would not work. We have to first multiply one of the equations. So we have equation 1 and 2. We need to multiply equation 1 by negative 2. Why am I multiplying this by negative 2? Because then my positive 4x can be canceled. So this changes into negative 4x. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6y. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And now we can more easily, so this is my new equation number 1. My equation number 1 here. 1 and 2. So you can kind of, this one has been transformed, so I'm going to erase it partially. It's gone. So we have our 2 equations here now, and we can add them together. So when I add these 2 together, get 0. 2y minus 6y is a negative 4y. Negative 6 plus a negative 2 is negative 8. And now I can keep solving for y by dividing by negative 4. And I have y equals 2. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is 2. So my solution so far, where these two lines intersect, my y is 2. Now to find my x, I can put my y back in here, and then I can find my x. So I have 4x, this is this equation right here. You can put it into either equation. I have 4x plus 2 times my y, which is 2, equals negative 6. And now I'll keep solving for x. I have 4 here plus 4x equals negative 6. My next step is to subtract 4 from each side. They cancel, so I have 4x equals negative 10. And then I divide by 4 to get my x alone, and I have x equals negative 10 over 4, which can be simplified, my x equals negative 10 over 4, by dividing by 2. So this actually becomes negative 5 over 2. So my x is negative 5 over 2, and this is where the two lines intersect. Right, so here's our second example. Take a moment to write it down. Remember, you can pause the video at any time. So here I have my two equations. Again, if I add them up, I'm not eliminating a variable. So I have a negative 3y here and a 6y here. If I would multiply this this bottom equation by 2, why did I choose 2? 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So then I would eliminate this positive 6y. So if I multiply this equation by 2, multiply everything by 2, I have transformed it, so this is now my new second equation, and we can erase it or just cross it out. I've transformed it. And now I can add these two equations together, and I'll be able to eliminate a variable. So 6y minus 6y is 0. 6x minus 2x is 4x. 8 plus 4 is 12. And now I continue to solve for x. Divide by 4, divide by 4. X is 3. So my x is 3. And now to find my y, I put this in for y here, or you can put it into this one. I'll do the top equation. So I have 6y minus 2 times my x is 3 equals 4. And now we can solve for y. 2 times 3, negative 2 is negative 6. Everything else stays the same. Now we keep solving for y. So I'm going to add 6 to each side. I have 6y equals 10. And then I can divide by 6. And I have y equals 10 over 6. So this is similar to our previous example. I'm going to divide by 2 to simplify this fraction. And this becomes y equals 10 divided by 2 is 5. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my y is 5 over 3.